and welcome to the Soju Bros. I'm your host, Ben.
And I'm your host, Peter.
And I'm Nick.
And today we're driving into some hot topics that are making waves both in South Korea and globally. From political shakeups to trade tensions, regulatory changes, and even some action-packed UFC updates. We've got a lot of to unpack, so grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get started. And soju too. Okay, the first topic is about the South Korea's impeachment. So I wanna see you guys' opinions first time. And
Those are heavy for the start, right?
so this heavy. So we drank 4 bottles of soju
Yeah.
previous this broadcast. Okay. So how about, or what can you see that incident like a political incident, and can you tell your opinion, Peter?
Starting me. Lots of things are stacked nowadays. It's not only Korea, but as a whole world, as a political instance are happening. Not only Korea, but Turkey, even in states, and especially impeachment in here was a wild political instant, I guess, because lots of demonstrations are happening still this day, and the like I don't know, it was a tough
Just
days
your feeling,
for,
yeah.
it was a tough days for a couple months for Koreans,
Yeah.
because like lots of informations and instances are like happening in this peninsula. But not only the instance, but the what actually happened in the date of the December 3rd was very interesting. Like, besides any of your opinion, is a very interesting, because not only your point of view, like any other's point of view, the instance is really ridiculous, I guess, because here is South Korea's Seoul, like 21st century, 2025, and there's martial law, which is, I think, a very outdated idea to do based on your political position or your idea. The martial law thing is very outdated, and thing happened, and it was not only outdated idea, but the instant was happened by not just the chance, by not just the one people's idea. It comes out that they kind of planned for the martial law, and they kind of run through the country. So there was like a very interesting and very shocking as a Korean. So, and that happened, and the whole other political context besides, and the president Yoon is finally impeached. I think this is personally, I think this is the right way to go, I guess.
So, okay, this is a great opinion. But before next opinion, I think we should tell this situation to our podcast customers,
Listeners.
listeners, because they may not know the situation.
Yeah.
So, last week on April 4th, 2025, South Korea's constitutional court upheld the impeachment of former President Yoon, ending months of chaos that began with his controversial attempt to impose martial law back in December 2024. This wasn't just a political misstep. It sent shockwaves through South Korea, Asia's fourth largest economy, and depended divisions in an already polarized society. Yeah. So how about the foreigner's Nick's opinion? What do you see?
Well, it's tricky to have an opinion on it because it's hard to get a straight answer as to why it even happened.
Mm.
Because depending on who you ask, on which side of the like the political aisle, the explanation is different,
Right.
and that depends on where people get their news and all that sort of stuff. But it was definitely a wild situation to be. It was only martial law for 6 hours.
Yeah, it's only for 6 hours.
Yeah, so I can't say really.
But the problem is they actually planned.
Yeah.
Lots of
Did
trying
they call
to
it
kill some people.
like the Burger King
Yeah.
incident? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good ad for Burger King. As far as I know about that, it was just like the high up generals and things in the military
Yeah.
had a meeting in a Burger King and
Yeah.
planned how they were going to do it, and they
Pork.
yeah.
Actually, it's Lotteria. It's like a Korean Burger King in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what?
Lotteria is it like
Have you
Korean
ever
Burger King?
experienced
Oh.
Loteria burgers?
It's like a
no, I've heard about them.
McDonald's in South Korea? Actually.
Korean
yeah.
KFC or Korean McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about it. Yeah, I've never been in there because I don't really like burgers and stuff.
I think you will not visit there because there's no soju.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, no, it was a crazy situation. Like I say, it's hard to get all the information as to why it happened and what people's stances are. So obviously it's controversial for a lot of Korean people and they don't want to voice their opinion on it publicly.
Right. Because every people get information through their own channels, like different channels, right?
Yeah.
So, but the problem is, it's so hard to distinguish is it fact or not, because so
Yeah,
many
totally.
channels nowadays, like
It was impressive though. Say the martial law only lasted 6 hours, but within 2 hours they had helicopters in the sky,
yeah,
special forces
right.
like storming buildings.
They're they're trying to
Super quick.
They kind of rule the parliament to
Yeah.
stop parliament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to the people that voted it down in the middle of the night, climbing fences to get in to vote it down.
Which is also really ridiculous because it's during the nighttime. Which most of the people are going to sleep.
Yeah.
Hey, Koreans not sleep at early time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I feel
is.
like it was very Korean. Like you order a drink in Korea, it gets here quick as. You call for martial law,
quick as that.
quick as.
If you declare the martial law, the Mr. Yoon declares the martial law at like 3 or 4 a.m., I think it can be accomplished. Yeah, it could be.
It could be because many people gonna
It might
sleep.
be, maybe.
Yeah, because many people are waiting for go to work at the time, maybe. So it could be like possible to declare the martial law and then it goes on, but he declared martial law a little bit early, I think. But I'm not on the Yoon side, just saying that timing thing.
I think people, because all it would have taken is one person in Parliament that has the power to vote it down to hear about it,
Mm-hmm.
or their wife to hear about it and like shake them awake,
Mm-hmm.
and they would message everyone.
Right.
And I think it would be like flying over
So
the fences.
basically, the parliament members or reached parliament to like stop the martial law. I mean the person you declared the martial law, and the parliament members trying to stop the martial law.
Yeah.
But they have a power to stop the martial law. So they are reaching to parliament, and the citizens also stop the
Block their
army
soldier section.
soldier
like
sections also.
But that's what I mean. I think even if he did call it at 3 or 4 a.m., it would have just taken one person to spread the word, and I think
Right.
it would have been a similar result.
Yeah, it could be. It could be like,
you know.
I cannot believe it
Yeah.
still.
I definitely agree with you that it's an outdated sort of thing, because
Yeah.
the last time I've heard about something like that happening is, I don't know, like war-torn,
Yeah.
like Eastern Europe or Cambodia or something.
Right.
I was going to say, it's normally places that are already at war.
Yeah,
or like
already at war, yeah.
they're changing dictatorships, or it's a military coup or something crazy like that. But this is like a modern society,
Yeah.
super advanced,
Yeah, this
and
is
out of nowhere there's a martial law.
out of nowhere, definitely.
So I was at my room, like doing something else, like assignments. But you guys can remember what you guys did at that moment?
I was like drinking beer with my friends
Mhm.
in the bar near my home. I drink beer with my like hometown friends, like old friends, like asking about how's it going, like how's your like day to day, like how's your getting a job or how's your workplace, some kind of stuff like daily, just drinking beer type of thing. And then all of a sudden, one friend tell me like President Yoon declared the martial law, and we all said bullshit. What are you talking about? Bullshit. And then other table was frightened. Like they say like President Yoon declared martial law. Like they speak out and they what no.
Wow.
And I heard it, and then I checked my phone, and there a lot of like messages like through the messengers. Like my friends text me like there's martial law, and also my mom called to me, and there's the person you declared martial law, so you should be in your home. It's so
Holy shit,
dangerous.
that's
Like
crazy.
so, I was like, what is happening in here? Like, so at that time, I was like thinking, maybe President Yoon finds some like literally like a national threat or something.
Mm.
So that's why, because like it's almost not understandable without those threats to declare martial law.
Yeah.
So,
weren't you scared? That would have been so scary.
but to be honest,
I was just confused.
I was not scared because I know what President Yoon was been. So maybe he was like he had a like conflict against like major party in parliament. So maybe he was very angry and just like declared martial law based on his feelings. This
Yeah.
it could be, but the time goes and it comes out that it's not just his feelings. He literally planned something at least. He brings some army. He did a meeting with the people, and
Yeah, it's crazy.
which is like it frightens later to me. Like at that time I was like not frightened. I was like just annoyed. What's going on in here? And then later on I realized, well, this is kind of serious thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. It became more and more serious as I heard about these things as well.
Yeah.
But when it actually happened, I didn't have the news on. I was just at home,
Mm.
just chilling, about to go to bed. And then one of my friends from Australia messaged me saying, "What the fuck is going on over there?" And I was like, "Oh, just studying, hanging out." And it wasn't until, like, after I got that message, I went to sleep. And then it wasn't until later the next day when I
you
saw what
realized,
happened. I thought,
yeah,
oh, whoa.
what is going on in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember our group chat that you are like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was still, you get those, like, emergency alert messages.
Right.
And the translations,
Yeah.
the translations of those things is
Yeah.
always terrible.
I mean, like the after they declared the martial law and they sent the rules, you cannot publish the news, and then you should not speak out about your political things.
Fuck, I didn't see
It's
one of-
crazy.
I didn't see those.
Yeah, it's like it's almost 1980s in South Korea.
Yeah.
Or 70s. I cannot still believe this thing happened in here.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it took me days to even know what was going on.
It's-
And still I don't know
You see
what's
the
going on.
martial law proclamation.
Yeah, proclamation. Yeah,
Do you remember where you were?
yeah.
Ben?
Do you remember where you were, Ben? Like, what was your, what did you do at that time when the President Yoon declared martial law?
I said it a few minutes ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but once again, I was at the room doing my assignments.
For university.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
And I check it out, and then I was so surprised at the
What was your
news.
honest reaction at the time? Like,
Yeah,
Maybe-
like, were
maybe-
you scared or just confused?
or maybe-
Should I cancel all the schedules like that? And then I didn't chat dangerously. Yeah. I
even the
didn't
chat,
chat freely.
right?
Yeah.
You
With my free will.
yeah, careful. Right? You're
Yeah.
very careful for even the chat, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I
Because
get it.
I know what martial law is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
That doesn't mean I'm all. Yeah.
Yeah,
But so there was public opinion that the constitutional court's ruling acknowledged the opposition party reckless push for impeachment, but also stated that the president's declaration of martial law was unconstitutional.
mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
How about what do you think about this one?
Like
Definitely seems pretty unconstitutional.
what I believe is but what I believe the President Yoon declared martial law based on his. I think this as his also martial law thing is a very serious thing, and also he planned to get a like perfect power to rule the country. But like every modern society have the they split the power, right, through the the constitutional court,
Congress, yeah.
Congress, and also the parliament, and also the presidency. Because if the power are become a one, it became a dictatorship. It's so
Yeah.
dangerous to like easily, like hastily go to a dictatorship. What I believe, and this peninsula, this soil, where we're living in, we experience lots of dictatorship. I guess, if you either like it or not, there was a dictatorship, and there was an end, right? And finally, we reached this democracy. So, as a person who really believes the rule and the law is the most important reason that we are defined as a civilian, not a barbarian, I believe we should follow the law. And also the declaring a martial law thing. Before he declared the martial law, I think he should solve these problems by politics, because politics is fighting. It's fighting and like get an apple from your own. Like you
Yeah.
have to move it, and you should get the fruit you wanted to. So politics is a war, but through it's like a sports. You have to get the people, you get the voting system, and you get a vote, and then you get the result what you really wanted to, based on the law, based on the
Yeah.
rules. So this is like a politics. And then there's like lots of like a framing thing, like political thing, like ideological thing. It all comes afterwards. What the first thing and foremost is the rule. You should follow the rule of the law. But the problem of this martial law is, whatever the reason was, he declared the martial law without any threats, based on what it revealed. So, personally, I believe President Yoon really did harm this whole country's law thing, and also like the rules. And I believe this declaration of the martial law is a wrong move, very wrong move for him, I guess. Yeah.
So simply that means that martial law is against the principles of Korean society.
Yes, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what else we would call something like martial law and plan it out if you didn't want to start your own dictatorship.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing I thought. But I mean, one of the local guy I know from where I live, kind of an older guy,
Mhm.
but not really. He said that President Yoon did that, or former President Yoon did that, because he thought that the Chinese and North Korean government were trying to influence
Right.
the South Korean
Yes.
government, and that was his reasoning, or at least that was the reasoning he gave after he got caught anyway, so
Yeah.
who knows if that was legit or not.
Yeah. If it's legit or not, he should bring the exact reason. I mean, the exact
Yeah.
situation. But finally, in the constitutional court, he finally didn't bring the exact reason for his martial law. So he got impeached. It was like That's
Friday.
last
Last
week.
Friday,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, last Friday.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the protests and the gatherings when they declared it. It was all the people that were upset about him being impeached were all 45, 55 plus, and everyone on the other side that wanted him to be impeached were all young,
Yeah.
like 20s, teenagers.
Yeah. So what I believe about the problems of the politics in this soil, in this country, is we skipped the times. Like we're on the like a modern society too quick.
Yeah,
So that's why the politicians also had their ideas differently all the times. Like about this agenda, they have this opinion. About this agenda, they have this opinion. So like basically like a traditional way to define you as a right sider or a left decider is because based on the point of view that you have as a based on your economic thing, like you believe the freedom and you believe the freedom of the market is more important, then you could decide it as a right winger, and you believe the fair, and you believe
like equality.
like equality is more important, then you can decide it as a left sider. But the problem is in nowadays, like agenda is so complicated, and agenda is like booming up, like so many agendas nowadays. So each politician have so many different opinions through this agenda, but they cannot speak out because they are very nervous to lose their vote. So the problem is for the politician nowadays, they doesn't do exact move to change or do in the effect of the like country's moves. They don't do anything. They just like let it be, and they just get the vote from the people, which is like very wrong. And especially the Korea, we skip those time and grow rapidly, so that each politician have so many agendas through the time, and then they lose their point. Everybody became the populist. That's why nowadays the People's Party, which is defined as right winger in South Korea's, when you look at their books, when you read what they're gonna do, it's a lefty, actually,
Yeah.
based on economics. And when you see the Democratic Party, which is defined in the Korea as a left sider, when you read their what they're gonna do, it's actually right side. So it's very vague to define your right or left in here. So it's so complicated because we experience dictatorship and like economical rapid growth, and also we've we spend lots of blood to get a democracy. Like
Yeah.
everything is so rapid, and also we are facing North Korea, which is like still any other world ideological thing ends almost. Not only religion, based on besides religion thing, but in here still the ideological war is in here because communism party is running the North Korea. So like a very very complicated situation, and then the martial law happens. That's why what I believe martial law is wrong, but the instance and the people's opinions I understand, because
Yeah.
based on which era they lived, it's so compact.
That's the crazy thing. Why it's so hard to understand, because as you say, Korean culture has changed so quickly,
Right.
and history has changed so quickly. It depends on the generation of the person, whether they're right or left wing,
Right.
and what they believe. Because as you say, it could be completely opposite
Right.
if someone's 10 years older or 20 years older.
Which is very
But they could both define themselves as left wing, but have completely opposing
yeah.
ideologies,
Yeah.
because one lived through a
The era, the generation.
yeah, like some have been through a democracy, some have been through a dictatorship,
Yeah.
or even multiple dictatorships,
Yeah.
and a bit of war.
Yeah. Just like my grandpa.
Yeah, like extreme corruption and whatever, level corruption right now.
Right. And the problem
So-
is, politician is same person. Like,
Yeah,
because the timeline is so compact, this politician experienced Korean War, dictatorship, democracy. Like, because like, if you have a long timeline, then your politician will be different. Just like in Great Britain, you have a King Charles, King Elizabeth, and
yeah.
they like Sunak, which is like running the Great
Rich
Britain
Sunak.
nowadays. Yeah, Rich Sunak. Though those politicians are different, and also they are born and fight as a different era, right? Like, think about even U.S. You can see Donald Trump, Barack Obama, and also like George Bush, and then there's a Roosevelt, like totally different era,
Yeah, totally.
and their big agenda is one. In the Roosevelt era is like doing constitutional work for the government, see, or not. Like there's like a Keynes or Hayek kind of like a theorist, ideologists are fighting for their ideology, and nowadays there's like a political correctness and a lot of agendas. But in South Korea, Theodore Roosevelt is a Barack Obama and Donald Trump, like same person.
Mm.
So that's why it kind of disguise people to have their idea. Like these people said this way, and these people said this way about this agenda. So like defining the right and left in here is so complicated. Like
Yeah.
that's the reason I think people have their own ideas about this martial law. But to be honest, my honest opinion is, besides those situations, when you look around the martial law and whole instance, it's wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
For me, it's wrong.
Yeah, so Peter was talking about current history and why we have no big difference with each other in political system, right?
Yeah, right.
It's good idea and good words. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to ask this question, like we Koreans have experienced like political earthquake for impeachment, present impeachment
Yeah.
twice. How about like this similar situation in Australia? You, Nick.
I mean, I don't know what to compare it to, because never had anything like impeachment, or maybe not impeachment. Actually, nothing like martial law.
Yeah.
We have had a lot of. I think 10 years ago
Mhm.
or 15 years ago, we went through, I think, 3 prime ministers in 1 year
3 prime ministers in 1 year.
Wow. Once.
What's happening there?
because they were like using each other and taking advantage of each other to improve their political power. And when they gained that power, they stabbed the last guy in the back and took
Backstabbing.
their power. Yeah,
Same party?
yeah,
Wow, this is
So the-
insane.
yeah. I would have looked it up, but it was like one guy got in, then a guy named Kevin Rudd got in, then Julia Gillard pretty much betrayed Kevin Rudd, and she got in, and this was all in 1 year.
In a year.
Yeah,
Wow.
and like we were talking about before, there's so much influence from other governments, and they give money to different parties, and you know, if you're on the board of like a university or something,
Yeah.
the government, like the Chinese government, will give money to your board, so they're essentially donating money straight to you. So the decisions you make aren't necessarily to Australia's best interest at heart.
Yeah.
So all these prime ministers changing overnight, essentially.
This is crazy.
No one knew like, what's your real agenda?
Mm.
Yeah, so for a while there, I didn't even know who the prime minister was. So it was like changed every time I listened to the radio. It was different.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Wow. This.
So, how about turning to next topic? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Next, let's shift gears to trade, where tensions are simmering between South Korea and the United States. Recently, U.S. President Donald Trump rolled out sweeping tariffs, including a 25% levy on South Korean imports, which took effect earlier this week. This is part of a broader trade war that's also hitting countries like China and Japan. But for South Korea, it's a direct blow to its auto industry, cornerstone of its economy. So it means it can be serious problem to Korea citizens. I think it's not only for Korean citizens, but for other country citizens too.
Whole world.
So I wanna listen to your opinions about this one. How about your Tama first? Yeah, Nick.
I didn't realize it got as high as 25.
Mm.
I heard it wasn't that high. That's crazy. But
Because as I know, to Australia it's only 11% maybe.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I say, every time I
it's so low.
look it up, it
low
gets higher
percentage,
and
yeah.
higher for every other
Mhm.
country. Yeah, I'm surprised by that. I'd be curious to know what the tariffs are the other way, because we were speaking about the tariffs between Europe and America,
Yeah.
and it was like 10% to sell cars from America to Europe,
Mm.
tariffs on America.
Yeah.
And previously to this, it was only 2% for European cars to go to America,
Yeah, yeah.
and so Trump just evened it up.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But then, yeah, I don't know why. The only tariffs I heard about for Australia that pissed me off were they banned Australian steak.
Oh.
Steak.
Yeah. So, and because Australia has banned American steak like for ages now,
Oh, really?
but that's just a biosecurity thing because we're an island.
Mm.
So if you bring steak from another country
I-
and their
then-
processing and like pesticide
yeah.
laws are different,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right, right.
so they're just worried about it bringing in bugs that could kill off all our cattle.
Mm. Yeah,
So they,
it's kind of a reasonable reason.
yeah, that's where most of our laws come from for food and things.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So yeah, them banning Australian steak, I'm concerned about the farmers because they're already
Mm.
struggling a bit. So yeah, I'd be curious what the tariffs are from the Korean side onto the American imports. Because there would have to be some. Like no one has zero tariffs.
I think United States are doing tariffs for their own reason, because United States want to bring factories come back to the states.
Yeah.
Right? They want because like middle class labor is like demolishing right now in the states based on like previous their government's rules.
Yeah.
That kind of grow the China as the biggest factory of the world, but still United States become a biggest market in the whole world because they run dollars.
Yeah.
They run dollars, so that's why they're the biggest market of the world. But the problem is, the United States and China is like competing for their like national hegemony, like a superpower. And the problem is, states have a problem with their middle class workers, labor people. They're suffering for the like getting a real estate, about their assets as well.
Mm.
So United States kind of had a plan to like getting a better circumstances for the getting assets through like high tech industries like AIs, like or Tesla or type of things.
Yeah.
And they do a chipset. They prohibit some of the high tech chipsets flow down to China to prohibit that the China's like high tech industries grow. But
Yeah.
the problem is the DeepSeek comes out and we kind of realize that maybe those chip rules doesn't actually work. And still, United States has better technology than China, but it's not actually working that we expected. So I mean, United States expected. So like I don't know I'm not in the Trump's. I cannot read Trump's mind. Like I'm not in Trump's head, but the tariff thing maybe like kind of break the previous like ground. Like
Yeah.
to dismantle this whole previous rules and bring a new order about like in the trade things in the
Yeah.
especially international. And South Korea as a whole, but without South Korea, we whole world will be suffer because we are under the dollar as a
Yeah, it's
as
the
a trade.
international currency.
Yeah, international currency is dollar. So, but not only Koreans but also United States people, they will suffer for the dollars of the tariffs. But I think United States had their own plans. I'm not sure it will be work, but they also had an agreement with the Putin, the Russia, and Ukraine to do not harm or invade the energy resources during the Ukraine and Russian war,
Yeah.
which means that, as you know, like the phrase that Trump did, like drill baby drill. He wanna drill and like use the oil as a main resources, and it helps if that works, and then the price of the oil will get lower, and the every price of the whole material will be lower, so that will be like it could be a cushion, it could be airbags for the like effect of the tariff. So maybe the United States, I'm not sure, but maybe the Trump's people believe, the government believe that even though tariff thing strikes back to United States people, the lower price of the oil will be like become airbags of these strikes. So, and then it will also harm the China because China is a factory. Basically, United States is a market, China is a factory. So, even the oil price will be go lower, and then the strike power of the like tariff will be get cushioned, like airbagged by the oil price. So I think this is the exact reason they're doing those agreements with the Russia and Putin. But the problem is, do the stock market can endure those kind of situations that are happening? So I think next week will define well. So, and also Trump kind of like stepped back. He kind of postponed for the tariffs for 90 days for the whole world besides China. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
That was the thing I was going to touch on earlier, is that the 90-day hold off on the tariffs.
Right.
I've heard that a lot of Congress people have started buying back into the stock market.
Right.
So it's dipped significantly, so all the stocks are on sale. And now there's US Congress people are buying back in, which is pretty solid sign it's going to start going back up.
Right.
And they don't have to declare what they've bought for 30 days. So I think for the next 30 days, we'll see the stock market go back up.
It will be.
And it'll be the stocks that the Congress people have bought into.
Yeah, they know some information, right? Yeah.
And also it said that Donald Trump is trying to make the U.S. national loan lower.
National loan lower,
like a period after the World War II.
I also think too it's I think the strategy of his is similar to what he said, like he wanted to buy Palestine and make it a resort or whatever.
And the Greenland thing.
Trump there,
But then he didn't do that, and now Egypt and a couple of other countries are starting to rebuild and clean up Palestine.
Yeah.
And then he said he's going to buy Panama Canal. He didn't do that.
Yeah.
But then Panama Canal like cut their deal, or at least limited their deal they had with China.
So it's
China, because it's already trying to do it.
It's like his own way to discuss. It's like a card game.
I think it's like a scare tactic.
Yeah, he's like a businessman, so he have his own like negotiation skills for that.
Yeah, he brings these massive tariffs, freaks everybody out, and says, "All right, we're going to hold off for 90 days, and then see what everybody else."
So then those countries will start to bring negotiations, and the problem is China is kind of like you can do tariffs, we'll do it also, like, and the Trump mentioned like Xi Jinping is like a good person, and he want to negotiate first before Xi Jinping mentioned. So it's kind of like a power game between China and also U.S. So
it's also like you're saying that the U.S. dollar is the international currency.
Yeah.
Whereas China has been working on dismantling that and using their own currency
by trading oil based on their yuan.
Yuan, which was like an agreement that Saudi Arabia made in 78 or 76 or something.
Right.
That they could only purchase oil with US dollars.
Right.
And then China, for the first time only 5 years ago or 3 years ago, they made a deal in,
With Saudi
With their-
Arabia and
yeah.
the OPEC. Yeah, OPEC. Yeah, yeah.
and now they're making the BRICS countries.
Yes.
It's China, Russia, Brazil.
Brazil,
Mm.
Russia,
India.
India, China.
Right.
Yeah,
what's
4
the other one?
countries,
Yeah,
Mm.
and South America, South Africa.
South Africa, that's the other one. And they're making their own currency
Yeah, right.
to try and dismantle,
This
also
kind of
just gain
rule,
power. Yeah.
dollar power. Yeah,
So I think all of these things are like,
like fighting
yeah,
for the.
That's
They
why-
gain their own power against America, right?
yeah, exactly. I think that's why like the tariffs to China are billion% now, whatever they're at now.
Yeah. So I believe like even though they are acting like dismantle this like rule of the dollars as a currency of the whole world,
Mm.
still see like even though even United States dollar as a like global currency is also chip on their shoulders because they have to lose their advantage through becoming the global currency,
Yeah,
and those disadvantage will straightly go to the middle class labor people. Because and this as you know, like United States is a democracy country is a tough task to like make these people endure those situations. Like in 2021, China did they kind of not abandoned, but they let it be about the real estate companies, and they collapsed, and the whole real estate market is in trouble, and
Mm.
it kind of stills nowadays. But the reason they can do because China is run by the communist government, right? So
What does it mean? China is China.
I mean, they kind of like they can't do this way because they have their own plans based on their party, right?
yeah,
So, but United States is different. They're a democratic company.
Yeah.
I mean, the country. So,
Toyota company.
actually, company though. But by the way, like, even though they try to dismantle this dollar currency thing, I believe dollar will still be like a steady currency, like a most wanted currency for people. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Thank you for your opinions on this one. But how about what do you see about the fact that U.S. government have no tariff regulations to Russia?
Oh, you mean Russia?
Yeah,
I think that's just a tactic to end the war.
it's
Yeah, it
really
could be.
yeah. New situation coming.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, like he was always saying he was going to end the war in 24 hours or whatever.
yeah.
So if you like negotiate with each other
Mm.
and we'll make some sort of trade agreement, and then he put tariffs on them,
Mm.
Putin's going to be like, well, what the fuck? Like what I listened to before.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's all that is really.
I agree with him because, like, basically, and besides those war thing, Russia is not a Russia back in 1980s. They're not the biggest
Yeah.
market or factory nowadays. So it doesn't affect the global trades. Of course, they do affect global trades based on oils and some of the resources, but like manufacturing things, Russia is not a big country to
Mm.
as a market or as a factory. So like Trump is using Russia as a card to only for stop the war and also the price of the oil, I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely the oil.
yeah,
But
definitely the oil.
I think you cannot ignore Russia like that one because in previous that country is called Soviet Union. But
Mhm.
Soviet Union was also not a big country for economic system. They have a strong power for military system one. So Russia has the same status and power right now. So I think in this time we have to check it out what they are negotiating with each other.
Right,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russia has not experienced the wealth era. Maybe.
Even
Yeah.
the whole
Like
history.
U.S.
Yeah.
golden age, like that one.
Like
yeah.
for the
Right.
middle class sort of thing.
Right, right.
I've also heard I should send you this video. I follow this guy on YouTube called Ryan Macbeth, and he was talking about, he's like a military analyst, and he was saying that if the war in Ukraine ended overnight,
Mm-hmm.
and Russia would collapse because everybody is working to contribute to the war.
Right.
So if they just stopped it, then unemployment would go to like 30% or something. And then you've got a whole bunch of military-aged men with military experience with their service rifles, and then you plunge the economy into the dirt. Like, that's how you have a civil war and like make a coup.
Yeah, right. Which is very dangerous for Putin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that plays on your point of the oil thing being a cushion. Because that could be a way to stop Putin being assassinated by his own
It
people.
could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be. Yeah.
You know that it's other part of the story, but you guys know that the song, the shut the fuck.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
super annoying.
You definitely like every reels, like
Why do you I find that so irritating, that girl. I can't hit
The
not
girl.
interested fast enough.
uninterested.
Oh,
Like
drives me
literally,
Yeah.
nuts.
Shut the fuck.
Ben liked every reels when she comes up.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Bother me. I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the
What? That's it for that song? So random.
Don't bother me.
It was so random, by the way. Okay.
And the last topics of the political system in Korea, like now let's zoom in one last headline, grabbing but equally important issue is kind of regulations affecting Shinan salt for farms in South Korea. It belongs to Jeolla province. We call it Jeollado. And then these salt farms, part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, are famous for their traditional methods of a high-quality sea salt. But recently, they have been caught in a U.S. import ban targeting products from some salt farm, one of Shinan's producers, over allegations of forced labor. It gave a shock.
Really?
It gave a shock. I think Koreans know about the Shinan's like past illegal things, but we didn't expect the U.S. government ban this one directly.
Yeah,
Holy
this
shit,
is
I didn't
like
hear about that.
so like this is a sea salt farm. They do they make a sea salt, and the problem is the labor is so tough, right? And some of the people who run those farms, it's actually doing a slavery thing.
Wow.
So the workers in there, who are people who have problems of themselves, and also some maybe disabled, like those they use those people as a slave.
Holy
It's
fuck.
based on like a not a fact, but like some of the stories it came out, and even the police and those governed districts are deeply rooted with those farms, so it's kind of
Wow.
hard to stop those things or happen. I mean, the instance things are happening in there.
That's crazy.
As you know, like United States, when you States is like a sea country, like Pacific Ocean, and like United States have like big cities near the sea, right? Even New York, like San Francisco, L.A., like those big cities are near the ocean. And when you look around the middle side of the United States, there are lots of things happening which is not normal, and they do they do kind of capture those wrong things happening, and they investigate not with the domestic police system department. They go with by FBI because they cannot believe those department based on those region, because they will be deeply rooted between the region, right?
Yeah, okay.
So like these things, I'm not sure, but it's kind of famous that these things are happening in that place in Korea, and that's why United States kind of prohibited to import those sea salt from.
Wow. So they banned the importation of the sea salt from these areas
Yeah, maybe
because of these.
yeah, like just you
Allegations, I
mentioned,
guess.
there's allegations through the as salt is a food, right? Kind of a food, so
Yeah.
like it will be have a strict allegations, but it will be like why they decided by that way. Maybe it could be like a fresh, like a freshness allegations, like a food, but it could be a labor allegations as well. Who knows?
Wow.
I saw several documentaries about making the salt in
Mhm.
like the sort farm. It's not farm like a merchant one, like a real what you imagine. Yeah, it's like just agriculture things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the workers cannot have a rest at any time because it's so busy depending on the weather, climate, and other factors. So,
Wow.
but it's only it can be possible to make salt only for 4 or 5 months in Korean like one
Yeah,
year.
okay.
So they have to focus on it, and then you know what? It requires lots of labor force. So in the past, like there are lots of crime. They can be make there any crimes here. It's not now in Korea. So I think yeah, they're like we some Korean guys said that regions has like a they have their slavery system to make their production wealth and well yeah
Wow.
and then but it has a big difference from now and the past because U.S. governments uh, ban it. It's it surprisingly shocks us. Yeah.
Just like the
Wow.
green allegations from EU, like European nations, they have like allegations for the like especially manufacturers or factories. They don't follow the allegations for the like a greenhouse gases type of thing. They kind of prohibit it for import, right? Just like the Apple incidents with the EU, they did like Apple. They kind of sell their phones with the like they use it as a like they charge more money to buy some like the cables like different genders of your phone like to charge your phone like these kind of things are European nations especially they have like a strict allegations for the like greenhouse gases or type of things maybe just like those kind of allegations about labor and also greenhouse gases all over the world and I think those sea salt from that place failed to pass these allegations from the United States, and which is
Okay.
very it shows that United States kind of like agree what's happening in there, and they feels like it's so wrong, so they
Wow.
kind of decline those allegations based on the allegations. Yeah.
I think we definitely need to get to the bottom of it, whether it's slavery or like
Which is
health
very like,
standards.
strong word.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah, I've never been there, but
So
That's
Nick,
wild.
have you ever noticed about Shinan Island about or the stories about Shinan?
No, I haven't heard anything of that.
really,
Yeah,
you want to find out?
sure.
You want to be there?
I'll visit.
You'll visit. Who knows? You can come out. No, just just kidding.
I'd be curious what they actually like, if they actually pay them or if they don't pay them at all, or
I think they
if they could have to pay them something.
They pay something, I guess.
Yeah.
It's based on my idea. I don't know. I've never been there, by the way.
But it's it it gave us shock because that from that because of that one, we are next to Somali, China, like the countries to us.
Yeah.
Those countries are
like-
failed for allegation.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
human infringement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild for it to be
That's
happening
wild. That's wild. So, the things what happening in there should be changed, I guess.
here. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, this totally should be changed.
We must. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's part of a UNESCO site.
Because that salt is so famous in Korea.
Yeah.
Or like it's
It's like a
historical.
top notch sea salt.
And it is
Wow.
also expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, very expensive sea salt from there.
Wow.
And how they manufacture it, I don't know. It's based
I
on-
think we want to say it more again, but we should block ourselves because of our broadcast.
right. I want to say more but
Yeah.
it should be canceled. They will cancel. I don't know. Somebody will cancel it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
So, how can we think this? What can you think this about Trump's decision against the Shinan salt?
There will be opinion. I think I cannot have an opinion because like it's based on what United States allegations. As you know, like they can decide it through their informations and opinions, and it's super fair. Like, is the slavery is happening or not, or even though it's like super fine for Koreans, those allegations depend on the people from United States and their governmental law. So I
Mm.
feel like it's out of our hands. Like it should be their decision. So I don't really have opinion about it.
But the
it's fair.
first time when
Mm-mm.
Trump was president in America,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't say nothing to you about this issue.
Mm-hmm.
But now he claimed about this one. So I think there would be a difference.
Yeah, we need to fix it.
between that
Yeah,
one and
for
now.
sure.
So what do you see like this? Their difference, Nick.
The difference between what?
So the Donald Trump, the first time, several years ago, he didn't say nothing about that one. But now he said this one. He claimed some
Well, it's
problems.
just more of a objective on international trade is shed light on it. Whereas the first time he was just looking within America.
Mm.
So that's just an international trade thing, I think. But if there's actually like modern day slavery going on, if this just draws attention to it, then that's like that can't be a bad thing.
Mm.
Like it might not be good for the economy of the company, but if they're making money based on slavery, then fuck
This
them.
is- Yeah, so wrong.
Like
They
yeah.
need to fix it, right?
yeah, if it draws attention to it, then that's got to be good.
Yeah.
Can't be having slaves in a modern country.
Right. It's so unreal.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So is there similar accident or incidents in your country, Australia?
I don't think so. I know we have. There are some companies that take people's passports,
Wow.
so they kind of control them being able to leave or not.
Wow.
And there's some comparisons being made to that to slavery, but they, as far as I know, they still work for like they pay them. It's not like they're
Yeah, Shinan
1,000
also
years ago.
pay, but is it legal? I don't know.
They pay too, but
Yeah.
under the minimum wage
Yeah, right.
in the
Yeah, yeah.
past. Yeah.
Australia have like big kangaroos and koalas and like big snakes and bugs. Right?
yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we have like modern day slavery as far as I know.
There's lots of kangaroos in there fighting, like boxing kangaroos in there. There should not be
Have you ever
slavery.
boxed with kangaroos?
That's so racial.
I slapped one once.
You slapped kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Wow.
veteran.
This is so Australian. There's so Aussie thing.
yeah.
Aussie,
It wasn't a
Aussie,
very-
Aussie.
I mean, I think I was 18,
Uh,
so I was a lot smaller than I am now. And so it was a kind of a smaller kangaroo, but
hmm.
I reckon if it wanted to beat me, it probably could have. It was just a
Kangaroos
chill
are
one.
super jacked up, right?
Yeah.
Jacked, right?
Yeah, they're crazy. Like, have you seen the video of two kangaroos fighting and one chokes the other one out?
Yeah.
And then when it's out, it lets it go, like it knows.
Yeah. I
It's
saw it.
insane.
It's insane. Their strength is insane.
Yeah.
And their size is also insane.
Yeah, some of them are huge. Like the red, there's a couple different kinds, and the red ones are enormous.
Yeah.
Like it's 6'8".
oh, Jesus.
It's
Super big.
yeah.
Wow.
So there's kangaroos that are taller than Donald Trump's son Barron.
Baron, yeah.
Yeah.
Baron.
There's kangaroos that are 1 inch taller than him.
Then Baron. Baron is a super big person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I saw it. Yeah.
Okay, let's move
It's-
on to the next topic because you mentioned about the boxing kangaroo.
And you know what? He has tried the kangaroo meat.
I also my
love kangaroo
my
meat.
soccer cleat is based on kangaroo
Leather.
skin. Kangaroo leather. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing
Oh,
until
so
you
you
told me
tried
that.
it?
My soccer cleat is from kangaroo leather. From Adidas.
Ah, no.
His
He,
shoe.
Mundial
no.
team.
He
Yeah.
eaten.
I've never tried kangaroo meat, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't know there was kangaroo leather, but makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How about let's move on to the next topic because you mentioned the kangaroo boxer. We
Yeah.
we got a Australian mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
Basically, we watched
UFC today.
Yeah, me and Nick, we both watched UFC in the Korean sports bar in Itaewon. Especially in Itaewon district, there's lots of a sports bar for foreigners, and we visited a sports bar in 11 a.m. like
It
KST.
was kind of like a US style.
Yeah, US
sports bar.
sports bar, and we watched the UFC 314 card. It was the main event was the
Y-
Volkanovski.
Is this advertisement time?
No.
If you're Australian, come to visit here. Feel free to join with us. www.point.
but like it was so perfect, good card. It was
Yeah,
so
it was a
good
brilliant
card.
card.
Like Volkanovski defeat Diego Lopez via decision, and the fight was so great. Like Nick was frightened when the Volkanovski
I was
got
terrified.
rocked. Yeah,
I was properly nervous
yeah.
watching it. Like my heart rate was high as.
Yeah,
I barely spoke.
I almost pissed myself, you know.
It was terrifying because he
Yeah.
actually, like Lopez landed a couple of real solid ones on Volk,
Yeah,
and at one point actually knocked him down.
it was a fourth round, maybe second round and fourth round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, relax. We have time to discuss this one from not now.
10시 반까지라서 얼마 안 남았어.
알아.
오케이.
이미 대본 준비돼 있어.
오케이.
Alright, let's switch things about with some high octane action from the UFC. The octagon has been buzzing with thrilling fights recently, so here's a quick rundown of the latest matchups that have fans talking. I'm not a fan of this one, but they are two guys.
Okay, there was a big fight against Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez because Volkanovski is trying to reclaim his featherweight title, and even though he's over 35 age, because
Yeah. 36.
previously like nobody in the UFC, especially under the lightweight, get a victory at the age of 35.
Yeah, winning a
plus.
title after the age of 35.
Yeah,
He's
and
the first one to do it.
it was the first one to do it. Aussie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Volkanovski defeated Diego Lopez via decision. It was a tough fight for Volk.
Yeah. Yeah, really tough.
Yeah, like
Knocked him down twice.
yeah,
Not really bad.
Yeah,
Like no one of them his momentum was kind of backwards.
right.
It was still a knockdown, but it wasn't like
Like super knockdown, like
Yeah.
unconscious knockdown. Yeah, it was not.
he was still awake and defending himself the whole time.
Right.
But yeah, it did knock him off his feet.
Well, based on the fighting style of the Volkanovski, like I kind of can't get nervous when he stood inside the pocket in exchanges because his chin is not still there, even though his like skill set is like top level.
Yeah,
It's still there. It's
Yeah.
still there. Definitely still there. He's almost the goat of the featherweight division in UFC. But like his chin, like we always doubt about his chin. Like as you can see in the Lopez fight, second round and fourth round, he got rocked and wobbled sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's happened a lot in the last few fights of his.
Right.
They would just catch one on the mouth,
Yeah.
catch one on the jaw, and then that's either it or it's close.
But thankfully, he kind of dominated the whole game. Thankfully.
Yeah, his energy was super high.
Yeah.
He's still really quick on his feet.
Yeah, and his
like jumping in and
jabs,
out.
timings,
His boxing is incredible.
boxings, and also wrestling. Like
Yeah,
he kind of cut off the cage when Diego Lopez trying to advance it. He kind of cut off with these low kicks and also takedown attempts. He kind of stops Lopez advancing in the pocket, and then he throws his good timing jabs.
yeah, his jabs are
and
crazy.
yeah, and exchanges in there. But which is very frightening is his chin is not there because he's old, and Lopez is a heavy puncher. So he got rocked a couple times.
Yeah, Lopez was incredible. Like Lopez might be my new favorite. He was unreal.
Yeah.
Like he throws super hard punches. He's got the craziest jaw.
Yeah.
Because Volkanovski's
Very
still
dur-
got super powerful punches,
Very
and he
durable.
landed
Yeah.
like 50
Mm.
on Lopez, and he barely reacted to them.
Yeah. And then he just walked forward.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy. And also, you could tell like early on in the fight the
Mhm.
lack of experience between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that Joe Rogan kept mentioning is that the Lopez was being outclassed.
Yeah.
Like you'd really see the lack of experience.
Right.
And even then, they also said something about some of the advice Lopez was getting from his corner
Mm-hmm.
was really lacking on the technical and tactical side.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
they said
Right.
something about
Be brave or something.
Yeah, it was like be brave, like
Just walk forward.
pretty much just try to
like,
get the better of him. It was like,
yeah,
what the
get
how
your
the fuck's that
timing
helpful?
type of
Yeah.
thing, like which is not really helpful for him.
Yeah, so I think their whole side needs a bit more experience and maybe bringing someone else on.
Right.
But apart from that, everything else is brilliant. So like the potential he has
Yeah.
is massive.
He's still a young fighter.
Yeah, and he's only been in it for 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
in UFC.
I follow up all his fights, including his debut fight against Movsar Evloev. It was like 2023, and it was his debut. It was like a backup fight. He was like the previous fight between Movsar and I don't know the exact opponent, but it was cancelled.
Yeah,
And Diego Lopez stepped in with only like 2 weeks notice, and then showed a crazy performance against like strong, undefeated Russian wrestler.
that's super impressive.
Yeah, super impressive. And then he got a victory against like Dan Ige and Brent Ortega, like those kind of top caliber opponents. And then finally he gets a title shot. And still, he's only in 2.5 years in UFC, which is
Yeah,
very
he's only
impressive.
29.
Yeah.
So how many fights has he had in the UFC? Is it 6?
I'm not sure, but 5 or 6. But he was really
Wow.
quick, and he knocked out Sodik Yusuf, which is a fighter who was ranked in 13 or 14 at the time in the UFC 300 card. He was very impressive, and also the UFC, the whole organization, kind of pushed him to the like this way. And
He seems like a nice guy as well.
yeah, he looks a nice guy.
Yeah,
I kind of rooting
seems
for
like a nice
him.
dude.
Yeah, but Volkanovski finally reclaimed his featherweight title. At this point, I believe Volk is the GOAT of the featherweight for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, his title defenses.
I can't wait to see him get
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
he will be in the Hall of Fame. And there was a couple of fights, which is good. Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett get a victory against Michael Chandler with a
Yeah,
great fashion.
I was really impressed with him.
Ground and pound.
As much as I don't
victory.
like him and he's dancing around and
Yeah,
just acting like a knobhead,
yeah.
I was really impressed with his performance. Like his striking is real good.
It very improved than
Yeah,
last time. Yeah,
his ground game's really good.
and
He
Chandler.
was brilliant.
Chandler, I think it's about time. I think,
Yeah,
he's still explosive. He's still strong, but his cardio tank, which is probably the problem for a couple of years,
yeah,
but it finally catches up with the like. Even your tough age and cardio thing catches you up. You're not the same person, right?
yeah. No,
Yeah, and
it was ridiculous to look at the two and think they weigh the same amount.
yeah.
Like I do not believe they weigh the same amount.
Chandler's size is this crazy.
It's ridiculous. There's only
Ridiculous.
2 inches height difference.
Yeah.
Paddy being taller.
Yeah.
Just the build on the two of them, they can't weigh the same amount.
Super
2
jacked.
inches is not enough in height to make up that amount of difference.
The difference of the thickness of
Yeah.
their upper body.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
and like no fat at all on Chandler.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's a fight between Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio People. And there's a Patricio People's first debut fight against Yair Rodriguez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Patricio was. He is a previous Bellator 2-time, 2 weight class simultaneously world champion, and he reached out to UFC and get a debut fight against Yair Rodriguez, which is a solid ranked fighter, and he lost the fight. How do you think? Like, what's your
Yeah,
honest
it seemed
reaction?
like you said, if he got into the UFC a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been a different thing.
Right.
Like he clearly had a lot of experience in what he was doing, but I don't know.
He
It
was
seemed
so
like
passive.
Yeah, it seemed like he was waiting for the other guy to lose momentum,
Right.
but he didn't. It just gave him more and more confidence because
Right.
he just wasn't being aggressive enough.
Yeah.
Like he was waiting for him to make a mistake, or
Yeah.
so we could throw a counter
Just
or
one
something.
for the right timing, but it's a 3-round fight,
Yeah.
so you cannot do like that way.
All right, folks, that's a wrap for today. Hope you had fun hanging out with us. Don't forget to hit that follow button and maybe leave a review if you're feeling generous. Catch you next time.
Feel free to write down comments. We'll so feel free, and also please just send us the email if you want to be a guest.
Oh, sure.
We're really happy to
We're glad to see you.
invite you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on. So what are we on? Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Apple Podcasts
and
and also YouTube. Yeah. So that's it for today.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's-
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.